Hello and welcome to my Path of Exile build diary, where I play some builds that were floating around in my head or builds that I saw from other players that I wanted to try myself. This time we are playing Herald of Agony Herald, since I always wanted to try to make a build around that skill, and it seems that the Herald Ascendancy from this event right now seems to be perfect for that, so I had to try it now or never, I guess. Just as a disclaimer, I will link a POB, but I did not min-max the build. I just looked at PoE Ninja a bit and then played without the POB and changed something in the tree when I felt like it. I started with the Witch and SRS, but I realized that I either have no idea how to level with that skill or that the skill isn't that good for leveling. So I switched to Blink Arrow of Bombarding in Act 2. After finishing Act 8, I decided to switch to the bare bone version of the build that I actually wanted to play. At first it felt kinda bad, but that was because my minion Herald of Agony was underleveled and was missing 50% of its shots, so I got some minion accuracy jewels and leveled the gem a bit. I also got a pair of Stampede boots, so we don't get the movement penalty from Cyclone, and enchanted it with Grave Pact, since I felt I was still missing accuracy and double damage is just nice. After getting my third lab, and with that 25 max virulence, I hope you pronounce that way, the build suddenly felt way smoother. For everyone who doesn't know how Herald of Agony works, here's the explanation. When you poison an enemy while Herald of Agony is active, you get virulence and the minion gets attack speed, increased physical damage and flat physical damage per virulence. That's why we are just trying to poison the enemy a lot with Ball Lightning of Orbiting, Cyclone and some other skills later. By the way, we need a small amount of chaos damage for spells for our elemental skills to poison on a jewel like this. After the axe, we jump right into Delve, and even though our build was far from being finished, it felt really nice early. But I guess I already had invested some currency with the boots and the jewels, so it should feel nice. After like 10 nodes, I found a nice jewel, which I sold for too little, I felt, but whatever. After that, I put my build together. First the Svalin for the lucky block, so I get some defenses. Secondly, a doppelganger guys for the nice less physical damage and chaos damage taken. And the regen when getting hit is nice, since I was not getting a lot of regen in this build. That's also why I got the stone golem later. You will see that. We also got a nice new belt with just some life and res. For our amulet, we got a replica Dragon's Flight, since basically all of the stats on it are useful for us, and of course the +3 to Herald of Agony is big. Then I wanted a Despair on hit ring, so I bought a base and started to spam Reforged Caster with Harvest Craft until I got some nice suffixes. Then I crafted suffixes cannot be changed via Beastcraft and Reforged Life with the Harvest, and I hit T1 life. Perfect. Then I slammed low energy shield and crafted minus mana cost because I had really big mana problems at that point. At the end we finished the ring by just using some catalyst, and done was my ring. Then we crafted a pair of gloves that I got by just throwing some deafening essences of greed on it. I wasn't looking for anything specific. I think I just stopped when I got a high accuracy roll because my Cyclone also poisons the enemy, and for single target it's nice if it hits more often. And I didn't really wanted to invest into accuracy in any other way. Then I slammed some Exiles on it and crafted life, and that was it. Then I also crafted a Sapphire Flask, since we got a lot of cold degen and delve, which are a big problem for me. Then I also bought a new helmet with minion level, life and rest, just to make my minion a little bit stronger and feel a little bit tankier because of the life. Now I really could start delving. By the way, if you're new to delve, you basically just want to get as deep as possible, but at least 500 depth. Since you get more bosses and more fossil nodes, the deeper you go, and on the internet it says from 500 on it's starting to get good. While going down, you just branch out a little bit to the fossil nodes that are worth some money, like the Abyssal Spire nodes for the hollow fossils of the league. Of course, bosses are also good, but it's only really worth it to fight the blue one, and maybe the red one if you're close to it. The city nodes with the chest are also supposed to be really good, but maybe I was just unlucky, but I did not get anything good from all of them during my time delving this time. Also, the contain minion physical fire or whatever item nodes can be good, since you get stuff like minions are aggressive wands or rings with fracture, curse on hit. Other than that, you just hope to get some lucky drops like me and hope they did not lose 90% in value this event. When I was around level 80, I got myself more upgrades in the form of a unique small cluster for Lone Messenger that gives me 25% more minion damage, and an awakened cast while channeling for stun immunity and more casts. At that point I also finished my last lab for 3 more levels on my Herald. I also took the Calandros touch from my older character to fix my mana problems, since I didn't really want to craft at that moment or buy some other ring. While looking at the possible Forbidden Jewel combos I could get, I decided I get Leash of Primordial, so I don't have to revive my golems all the time. And since I also could get one more golem with it, I got a Chaos Golem of Maelstrom, since it can apply Wither, which is nice for single target. A Stone Golem of Safeguarding would also be nice, just to be a little bit more tanky, but I thought damage was more important for me at that moment. Shortly after that, I found my first blue boss and noticed that my single target damage wasn't really good, because I couldn't get enough Virulence stacks. So, in addition to the Tornado of Elemental Turbulence that I had in my shield that I couldn't cast myself because it would only trigger on block, I got one that I could cast myself. With that and 10 tries, I got my first Aul fight. I got an amulet, which I identified by accident, but it turned out to be Envy, which is nice, right? I was excited at first, but sadly the Envy one wasn't worth anything this leagues, so instead of getting 15 div or 25 div, or in some leagues even more, I sold it for like 1 div a little bit later. After that I got myself some more levels for my Herald in the form of Awakened gems and a 2120 gem, so my Herald hits level 34 for a nice threshold. Now it gets 12% increased attack speed per Virulence, and with 100 max Virulence, it's 100 increased attack speed compared to level 33. Then I continued to go deeper again. On my way down I found a minions are aggressive wand, which I didn't really notice at first in my inventory. At some point I was annoyed by my attribute problems, so I decided to finally craft a better ring. I got myself a fractured one, which I just threw some assets on it. By accident I crafted something really nice, but it was useless to me, so I just decided to sell it. So I tried again, and after getting something useful, I crafted level 30 aspect of the spider. After remembering that I can't put an influence on a fractured item, I slammed another low energy shield row and crafted minus mana cost, and after some catalyst, it was done. Now I could respec some things and put on some tattoos for poison chance. With that ring chance, we got 100% poison chance without chance to poison support on our gems and got aspect of the spider. That felt like a really nice upgrade. And with that, my single target damage suddenly felt really nice. And so I went deeper again. After a while, I wanted to get a nice chest corruption, so I got myself some doppelganger guises, 2 double corrupt and some temples. After 6 socketing them, I tried my luck. As you can see, only the first one was a hit, and actually a really nice one for a trap build. So I just used that one. Then I realized that I could corrupt the one that I was wearing as well and hit something useless, but maybe I sell it later. So I went back into the mine. Here I found a +1 Spectre chest, which I tried to fracture, since fracture and orbs are really cheap this league, but I had no luck. Shortly after that I reached level 96 and now I could finally kill all the bosses that I found that I couldn't kill because I didn't want to lose XP. A little bit deeper down I also found 2 Abyssal Spire nodes right next to each other, and that's why you want to go deeper, because you can't find something like that at depth 200 or something. I also tried my luck with another fracture, but oh well. Someone else still wanted both of them, but probably just for a recombination or something. I hope he hit it. I also tried some cluster jewel crafting with some of my fossils and it went pretty good. Sadly, none of these combinations were worth anything, so I kind of turned 2.5 div into 3.5 div or so in 20-30 minutes of crafting. At around depth 630, I noticed that I died more and more often, so I thought that to be my wall for my build. So I killed another boss at depth 632 and decided to see what else can my build do outside of the mine. So I tried Simulacrum, but sadly I couldn't do it. At wave 13 or so I got some nasty mod combinations and just got one-shotted, so I gave up on that front. So to calm down my nerves a bit, I gambled my Ahul's uprisings and I got another envy that is still not worth anything this event. So yeah, in another league I would have made good money with these amulets. The next day I decided that I wanted to see how good the bossing above the ground is. And it was surprisingly good. The feared were no problem except for one death because I walked into an Exile spell, and the Uber Elder also wasn't a problem, at least on the second try, because on the first try I had Maven activated, and with her healing the bosses all the time, that wasn't working out for me. Then I jumped into T17s and these felt like chill T16 maps in comparison to Delve. Here I dropped a weapon that I wanted to switch to earlier, but I always forgot about it. Then I also did Uber Ida and Uber Exile, which were killed without issues, except a skill issue because I'm too dumb to do the ball phase. And at last, Uber Cortex, and he was so nice that he dropped me a nice jewel. And after looking at the worth of the jewel and into my stash, I realized that I was close to a mage blood since it's really cheap this event. So I farmed a bit more and sold the Cortex jewel, and with that I could buy a mage blood. To switch to the mage blood I needed new flask and new boots since I thought I would be faster with a quicksilver and some 30% movement boots. But after one delve node with a lightning donut enemy, I remembered that max lightning res would also be really nice. So I switched back to the Stampede and the enchantment that it has, which is also nice, and got a good topaz flask and went back into the mine to try out the build with mage blood. And what can I say, standing still at almost 650 depth felt quite nice. After that I tried another Simulacrum and it was a breeze. And just to show you how it looked, here is wave 15. And at that point I was done. This build was really fun. The progression of it felt really nice. Of course, this isn't a kind of 0 to hero video, so I don't know how good it would have felt if you can't invest like 10 div at the beginning. But if you have like 10 div lying around to get the basics, I can only recommend the build as long as you can still play this event. Or try it with Juggernaut next league. I heard that Juggernaut can make it also work really good because it's tanky from the get-go. If you watched until this point, I say thank you and hope that you enjoyed the video, and it would really help out a lot if you could like and subscribe, and see you next time.